NERPs, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
They're very exciting things.
It's going to be an awesome thing that we can talk about. So we are live, and we will potentially have more people. Our tens of viewers will log on and check us out. We might have a couple of people over the stream. We'll see how we go. Ooh, it's 7:30 on the dot. It's the Lightbox Wanamate podcast. My name is Tanya. This is David and Lindsay. And
hi, everyone.
Also special guest this evening, Nina.
Hi. Pleasure to be here.
So welcome, everyone. This is our Wanamate little podcast that we use to basically do the stuff that we normally do and talk about animation, except you don't normally get to see it. But yes, I'm seeing links pop. I'm just gonna close windows and stop getting alerts from various channels as things pop up. But you're either on YouTube or you're on Facebook. Welcome, and thanks for popping along this evening. We've got a few things to talk about this evening. First of all, I'm going to read this bit. Wanamate wish to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land we film this broadcast, the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation. We wish to acknowledge and respect the continuing culture and the contribution they make to the life of this city and this region and our industry. We pay our respects to them and their cultures, to elders both past, present and emerging. We will also like to acknowledge and join the millions of Australians celebrating Pride, and acknowledge the great contribution queer folk have made to our industry. So happy Pride, everyone. And yeah, Pride is in full swing in Perth, and there's so many things going on, and I'm kind of split focused at the moment. So thank you. Cool. Do we want to get on to the news straight away? First of all, yeah. Well, do we normally start news with obituaries? Because Dave, do you want to talk about Kevin?
Yeah, it's a big one for myself. Obviously, anyone that's a Batman fan will know the voice and the name. Batman in the 90s animated series, going through Justice League and then into Batman Beyond. Also in a lot of the Arkham games, he's been the voice of Batman as well. Kevin Conroy passed, I think it was about 10 days ago now, from cancer. And just an amazing voice actor, and yeah, a great loss for the industry. He's probably been my favourite Batman of all time, out of all the actors that have played it. So the role, a bit devastating for a lot of us.
He's definitely recognised as the most prolific Batman. I think his appearances outweigh every single other Batman fivefold. So.
Oh, absolutely. And paired with Mark Hamill's Joker, it's an incredible voice pairing. It really is. Also, I guess in Pride Month we should mention that he did actually come out, I think it was only in 2016, so it was quite late in his life that he actually felt capable of coming out and not threatened as an actor in that regard. So it's sad that that's the case, but he did marry and have a spouse as well. So sorry to have seen him pass. Really, really am.
Is he the first gay Batman though?
I believe so. I mean, obviously you've got to be careful when you're looking at the Republic serials and stuff like that, but yeah, it seems like he might be the first rainbow Batman.
The first. That's a deep cut. If you've ever read classic Silver Age Batman, yes, the Rainbow Batman series. Yes, there's a pink Batman suit that's completely legit
No, in was it in
Not-
Red? I looked spectacular.
Oh, I think in the 60s and the Silver
Yeah.
Age, they had a whole ton of stuff that was all over the place.
not just Hello Kitty. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Well,
Sorry,
we do
Dean.
have another death, actually. Kevin O'Neill passed away this month.
Oh yes.
Kevin O'Neill was a big star and a very controversial one from the 2000 AD comics. That was British newsprint comics featuring Judge Dredd and Tharg and the gang. And so he was very famous for creating the character called Nemesis the Warlock. And he worked on the first real anti-superhero comic called Martial Law, which was pretty out there. And he also worked on the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen with Alan Moore, and among other things. So he's quite an amazing guy. I honestly think Warhammer 40,000 basically wouldn't exist without his influence, I think.
Oh, absolutely. Especially,
if you look, I mean, Nemesis the Warlock was very influential to me.
But also, Greg Bear, not an animator, but tangentially related, in that he was a writer of sci-fi.
Oh, really? He passed on?
Yeah,
just yesterday he passed.
Yeah. So,
my God, they're all dropping like flies. What the hell?
It's our age. Sorry, just saying.
Yes, I think it is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
My grandma warned me. Once I get past 45, then suddenly they all start dropping.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true.
Well, on to different news.
Ooh.
Okay, this one, it's an emergent situation. Not sure how much of an effect it is going to have, but Hasbro, because of massive stock losses, and there's a large variety of different reasons from it, from spicy cough related supply issues to prices of plastics and shipping going up, to massive failed projects recently, to films being held back a year. So they have no stock and toys to release. But they're looking to divest themselves of E1, their entertainment side of things. That
includes some pretty big IPs. So Transformers and Peppa Pig, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, it's possibly those. They've said a statement that they're looking to hold on to those or focus into those. So whether those IPs will be included with the sale of E1 or not, who knows? Yeah. But having seen what's happened with Warner Brothers Discovery's merger recently and the problems that has arisen in the animation industry in that area, it's probably worth keeping an eye out for this and just seeing how it plays out.
Yeah. Fair enough. So, the news. Oh, here we go. Have we already got through the news? Is that everything?
No, there's a few things that we haven't got slides
more things. Did Disney have a change of CEO again?
Yes, I did. Let's see.
That would be pretty big news.
That's us. That's me not reading through the notes properly. Okay,
Yeah.
So yes, as of today, Bob Iger has been reinstated as CEO of Disney, and Bob Chapek has been fired after less than 2 years. Meaning, they've gone back to an older CEO, one who's known for looking after Disney during a period of big growth and big takeovers. So Bob Iger looked after looked after the acquisition of Marvel and Lucasfilm, and
Crikey. So he's the one we blame. Okay.
Blame. Yeah. Well, he's basically taken Disney to new heights, and all I can see is that my eyes see only.
Was there any reason given for that? Is that just
There's nothing solid yet, unless something's been released since I wrote the notes down. But basically, it's just come out, and that's all I know. So Bob Iger was in charge during the biggest growth period for Disney.
Well, what I heard, I think Chapek was his name. Chapek. Hang on.
Yeah.
I'll consult my note. Yeah, Chapek was chief executive in February 2020, and according to CNBC, they say that their Disney stock had fallen by about 41% in the last 12 months. So So I suspect some panicky shareholders had a lot to do with that decision.
Ooh.
It went back to the old comfort CEO.
Yeah, it's looking like you've
That's what it
got
sounds
to
like.
shore up during harsh financial times that possibly are ahead. So yeah, okay.
Frank G is saying disenchanted. Well, they may be disenchanted, but I'm looking forward to the film. So we'll see how that goes. So.
Yeah. Well, it's funny how our pop culture is being so affected by a lot of management shuffles upstairs.
Yes.
So it's not a good time to be a billionaire in this day and age.
Yes.
Say like critical things about them, really. Yeah.
Technology-wise, only recently we're starting to look at a thing called Nerf, which was...
It's early days. It's early days.
It's very early tech. Corridor Crew have a video out which sort of breaks down what it is, so you get to see Ren play around with technology.
Still a bit mysterious, but the big difference, as far as I can tell, is like what do I call it, radiogrammetry or something, when you scan a 3D subject with multiple cameras and stuff, and then the computer works out and builds up an entire little database of points and then creates a model out of it. This is like son of that. It's the next generation. And one of the things about old-fashioned scanning was the fact that if you had a mirror in there, it would get upset, or glass or something like that. It would just not work. So people tended to scan things that were pretty opaque, pretty dull, basic objects and furniture and stuff. This one, it basically records light. So it doesn't really so much record geometry, although you can do that. I think it records light conditions. So what it does, it builds a huge cloud of points of different light conditions, which allows it to cover things like reflections and transparency, which is pretty wild. Then once you've got that, you just plug that little database into wherever, and you've effectively got something that lights itself.
The example footage I was looking at was using basically taking a scene and then moving the camera around in the scene once the scene has been created. And
you don't just get the model, you get the lighting conditions that the thing was recording at the time. So it looks like if you recorded an environment where you're outside, you could record all that and build a big kind of map of what you're looking at. And then you could basically put that inside a room. So someone could open a door and then, oh, look, there's inside the next room. And you can walk into it and the camera will track around it, and it's recorded all the light conditions from all angles. It's eye-popping stuff, but it's still a bit black box to me. I haven't quite got my head around it yet. But
yeah, I can see a zillion and one cinematographers shitting themselves right now. Well, just in the same way that animators were a week ago with AI.
Look, I was working on Happy Feet when motion capture hit critical mass, and all the keyframe animators were having almost like armed revolutions in the streets. I mean, especially the Disney crowd or the big studio crowds, because they had very specific jobs, and the first thing they were all fearing was that they're all going to get laid off and replaced by a box, which didn't happen. We're seeing a similar thing with AI, photogrammetry.
Photogrammetry. It's very much related to photogrammetry, Frank.
Yes, but it's a bit like, I think it's a bit like ArchiVis's or architectural visualizations light maps.
Yeah.
So what you do is you have a scene, you get all your lights, and you tell your lights, right, you lights, each one of you is spitting out a bunch of photons. So each light is like a paintball dispenser. It shoots out luminous giant electrons the size of golf balls or something. So you'll say, this light's going to put out 10,000 of those, and they'll bounce around the room and leave little spots of color and light everywhere. And you build up this sort of spotty pointillism three-dimensional map. You can't really see it. It's just used by the renderer to render your final scenes. That's how you can quickly and cheaply simulate bounce light in a scene.
Yeah.
This is like that, except you're scanning it from cameras, not generating it within an architectural system or a 3D system. That's the big difference. So it's like instead of trying to make it from scratch, you're sampling it from an environment somewhere. It's pretty cool.
Another bit of news. Adobe is stripping Pantone colors out of their products at the end of November, meaning those who rely on color sharing through Pantone are kind of have to find another avenue or pay the separate subscription through Pantone to get it back in Adobe. An interesting thing is Adobe is not dropping its price for us, despite taking Pantone out.
Is this their version of shrinkflation or something?
Well, we're not industrial designers, or we're not, real world painters.
But a lot of commercial productions depend on Pantone colors being correct.
Yeah.
So that'll annoy a few people.
But there's avenues. I've been seeing people out there attempt to create libraries of color in the last few days, just as a potential replacement, or alternate versions. The rumor is that Adobe is going to be creating its own color matching library, which is why this has happened. But we'll see.
Yeah.
So that's the news as it is so far. It's not always good news, but
it's
definitely interesting. Definitely interesting. So on to our recent Wham Bam. So for those of you who don't know, Wham Bam is the 48-hour animation competition that we run yearly if we can. This year, again, it was hosted at the SAE campus in the city of Perth, in Northbridge. And thank you to SAE for inviting us and letting us use the facilities and letting us all camp out there, for those of us who did. Shelley, who looks after the campus side of things, and I was there all weekend. And Dave and Lindsay popped in and said hi, and we got to create a bunch of animations with several members of the local industry, and several one of them is here this evening. So yes. Hi, Nina.
Hey.
Hi.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Well done.
Oh yes, congratulations, of course, because Nina is the winner with her film Slice of Life. Her team's win. Let's
yes.
Would you like to name them and shame them?
Yeah. So in the team was Kirsty Heiner, Jess Harris, and Sophie Till.
Nice.
And they were a great team. No complaints.
It's good. It's well, normally you go in small teams. This is the first time you've done a larger team.
Yeah. Last time it was just Sophie and I doing Wham Bam last year.
So this is not the first time that Nina has won Wham Bam. She's sort of pipping a lot of people at the post. Thankfully, we're trying to. I'm not involved in the judging, so I'm remaining neutral in these things. But yeah, so especially considering I've got students that, so I can't be a judge on principle.
Same here.
But yes, it's very, very cool.
One of our team members, Jess Harris, actually only decided to join our team like on the day at 6 p.m. She drove Kirsty to the venue, and then I was like, hey, do you wanna tag along, kind of half jokingly? And she was like, yeah, sure, cool, I'll come along. And I was like, okay, cool.
See, that's the sort of thing that Wham Bam's really about, getting people in to come in and having a bit of fun and drawing
it's one of its secret
the industry together. The cool thing is that you get to see what other people are doing and get to talk to. Otherwise, we can become a little bit siloed, either in our different businesses or our different schools or whatever is going on, and hanging around, especially on the campus of SAE, it's quite a good way of connecting with all of us. That's because we don't have our monthly get-togethers as much anymore, so we should be doing that definitely a bit more. But we definitely have some interview questions for you. Do you want to fire away with them, David, since you're
Oh, okay, right.
our architect of interrogation?
All right. So, okay, we've talked a bit about the time crunch for Wham Bam. You have a weekend, basically. For those, let's set the scene first, I guess, for what Wham Bam is, because you have 3 words chosen at random by the chief interrogator herself up there.
Randomly drawn from a hat. The 3 words this year were a fruit, a style of music, and a colour. So.
Yeah. And you've got a time.
Not a colour.
Oh, damn it. An emotion. Yes. Yeah. Damn it.
And you've got a time crunch, basically the weekend to do it. So starting Friday night, finishing Sunday.
A lot of spontaneity, basically.
Yeah. So, okay. So how do you handle the time crunch that Wham Bam gives in terms of both churning out an idea and the execution of the product at the end?
48 hours is not a lot of time. You kind of just have to say yes to everything, and you get a lot more ideas that are a bit wilder and weirder than what you would normally get. Just deciding to do an animation by yourself. I feel like when you put animators in a room, they kind of water down each other's ideas, and if you give them 3 months to do something, sometimes it just ends up with total drabble that's playing it really, really safe because everyone's given all their comments and critiques. But Wham Bam, it was kind of pineapple and angry, let's go. People hate pineapple on pizza, that's what we're doing. And someone was cool, and they're like, what if we do a jazz spoken word poem? And someone was like, yes, perfect, that's great. And what if the dough is related to the piano, and we're like, perfect, this is amazing, yes. And the guy hates his job, perfect, yes, let's add it. But of course also it's kind of reining the ideas in, and the simpler the idea, the better. And that's something you kind of learn the hard way, or sometimes you learn it on the Sunday night and you're at the compositing stage and you're oh no. But yeah, saying yes to a lot of things, and my favorite part is the Friday night sitting down to brainstorm.
Okay, all right. So you like the brainstorm, and then after Friday night, you've done that brainstorming. How do you bring all those ideas together in the remaining day and a half left, basically, then?
Lots of video calls, and texting, and just calling people, being hi, what's happening? Because we all went home at night as well. We all slept.
Is there any benefits that come out of that time crunch other than saying yes to everything?
For sure. You kind of get to do the things you want to do, or you find secret magic shortcuts in your software. So many After Effects, that shift button where you can composite things and it clicks. I discovered that last year in Wham Bam. And I just so when you're in a time crunch, you are looking for all the shortcuts you can find, and you understand your software a lot better when you have a lot less time to figure it out, which is counterintuitive. And then things that you wouldn't do for a big animation, so the style of background, I was let's keep it messy, let's keep it loose. We were looking at Lorenzo, so that cat animation from Disney where the cat's tail comes to life and the cat is sad that his tail has disappeared. But I was oh, I've always wanted to try doing this type of background style. Can we do it? And everyone was like, sure, you can just do all the backgrounds. And you have like 3 hours to try and draw like 12 backgrounds, which is stressful, but like, yeah, the things that I have always wanted to do, I got to do. And yeah, it was the same for last time's Wham Bam. I was like, I want to try anime camera angles. And I was like, sure, like you can't fail in 48 hours.
It's true.
Anything
you can,
stuff up,
but
blame it on the brain.
Create an entire new style of animation.
that's right. That is true.
Yeah. No better time, because then if you stuff up, you're like, we had 48 hours, so I mean, blame it on the time restraint. We're all brilliant animators, we just couldn't do it in that short amount of time.
No, it's good. Go for it, Lindsay.
It's a sort of form where you start finding yourself doing things that you would not have imagined doing, because it's a bit out there, but we're going to do it, and we're going to slap something together, and because it's slapped together, anything goes. And suddenly everyone starts surprising themselves. That's the thing I like about it.
Yeah. Someone in our team, Jess Harris, she'd never animated before until this.
Oh wow!
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Trial by fire.
Okay. You've mentioned the Disney connection. Who are your inspirations as far as filmmakers and animators go?
I read a lot of comics, so I really get inspired by comics.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. And I like, because I think storytelling is it's not just caught up in animation. And when you just look at animation, you kind of get, I don't know, one-track mind. So I really like comic artists like Stephen McCraney and Tilly Walden, and just like experimental comics and storytelling. But I love Pixar, and I love all their like experimental short films. You're like, anything that can make you cry in like 3 minutes is just like amazing.
The spark shots definitely show their influence across your work. Yeah.
That one short, which was like called 20 something, and I just watched that over and over and over again, and I was like, this is brilliant, and I was just weeping.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, and you've got this great sense of motion that carries throughout Slice of Life. Is that brought out of the idea that you're shifting between versions of reality, or is it just brought out from the music itself?
The motion and the energy of the piece was a lot of Kirsty's doing. She really wanted to do a beat poem, and we looked at it's called Storm by, I think, Tim Minchin. Tim Minchin.
Yeah, Tim Minchin.
So we were looking at that kind of rhythm with the concept of blues, but no one, because that was the name that we got picked out of the hat. That was the type of music. So we got blues, and we're like, I don't know blues. We'll do jazz beat poems. Let's go. And so then we
There's
looked
a
up.
crossover there, so you're okay.
I know. We're Googling, we're like, is jazz the same as blues? And we weren't sure in the end, but we're like, it's fine. No one's going to pull us up on it. But yeah, so Kirsty really wanted to take charge with the music, and like designed that entire piece, and like did all the recordings. That basically took Friday and Saturday, which was amazing. And then only on Sunday morning did we get the final audio, and I was frantically trying to animate people's dialogue and things like that, because she decided on the script. And yeah, so it was all about like that beat poem, and we were looking at a sense of poetry and that was what led the motion and energy of the piece for sure.
And Kirsty did most of the voices.
All of the voices.
Or was all of the voices? So
The
and used a voice for the music and the instruments. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, so the drums were a bass track from my understanding, but the trumpet was Kirsty's voice and the singer was Kirsty's voice. The piano was a track that we found, and but then the guy quitting and the person who wanted pineapple on the pizza were all Kirsty as well.
Wow, versatile.
And that voice works in well with the theme that it's happening in the head, you know, and that sort of whole theme of, you know, different forms of art being produced in the same thing, whether it's pizza or whether it's the actual jazz song or the blues song.
Mhm.
You're assuming that Whopper Jazz kids are watching our animations, Frank. So
how's our audience at the moment? Are we up to double digits yet?
no.
Yeah,
We're still in the singles, man. Most of our viewers happen during the week.
Ah, right. So you're all getting in before it gets cool. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
My tens of fans.
Excellent.
So what's next for you and your team, Nina?
Next, I have the Curtin Grad Show this week. Come down on Friday if you want to see some animation. But also, I think we'll do Wham Bam again. It's good fun, and it's just a break from serious art. And yeah. Oh, and one of my short films got into Swan, which is a women's film festival held at SAE as well.
Oh, that's very cool. I have heard of Swan, so yeah, great. Congratulations.
It's the women in Perth making films.
Yes, might have to track that down and link that if we can. So, yeah, get people along to look at your films.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Would we like to see the film? I'm going to check it on. So let's add. Give us a second. Hopefully this will work without the background. Actually, I'm going to deal with our repeating background music. Let's pause that.
Frank's asking which film for Swan are you showing?
Oh yeah.
It's the one from 3:30. While they sleep.
Oh, cool.
Great. So, interestingly enough, you were also nominated for a Cinefest Oz Award with that film. So you were in the running. Didn't win, sadly, but yeah, it was an awesome achievement.
It's a beautiful piece. It really is.
Thank you.
It's very nice. So.
And yeah, on the Cartoon Saloon, that one was inspired by Cartoon Saloon, but not necessarily this one.
Yeah. Very cool. Okay, let me just check the film on so we can see it.
So what's that you want, eh? Well, folks, we begin with an idea. Mix it up real good. Then we're gonna smooth it out. Always keeping it fresh. Don't forget to slap on that spice. Cause it's time to turn up the heat.
Hey, yeah, you! You screwed up my order. Give me my pineapple. Do your job. That's what you're here for, ain't
You
it?
don't understand. This is art. I quit. This city sure does make for a tough crowd. But I guess some people just ain't got no taste.
Awesome.
Very nice.
It's great.
Together.
A well-deserved win. The competition was close, actually. So if you're interested in seeing some of the other films, they are up on the Wenimate YouTube channel under Wham Bam 2022. Should shout out to Shannon, who got second place with his.
You might have been a bit angry about that one, but
it's good. It's very good.
Excellent.
Like, he definitely deserves accolades for his off the wall, and yes, it's great.
He always manages to smash out like amazing things in such a short time.
He does it during the week as well. So you like, if you follow any of Shannon's streams, you get to see small little animated bits that he does like daily, every second day. There's always something that's popping up, and it's always off the wall, weird.
He's the sort of guy that would have a regular segment on a TV show or something like that back in the day.
I think he has a podcast which we should link and track down. So if you're paying attention, Shannon, send us the link to your podcast, and we can give you some traffic. Our 10 viewers.
Our singular traffic will come your way.
Nice. Cool. Well, thank you for popping along, Nina. But we're going to talk about things, because there are things out this week. Lindsay groans at, was it Lindsay groaning at Rick and Morty? Yes, Rick and Morty is out as of today.
That's right. It's tonight, isn't it? The new one. Yep. Okay.
It is out today, and it is amazing.
It is phenomenal. There's a.
They definitely have their moments.
It's there for writers that's going to kill you.
Yeah, if you're a writer and you've been accused of just stumbling through meta, this is the episode for you. It's just.
Don't spoil it, because it's a great surprise.
Yeah. No, there's no spoilers going to happen. But yeah, please enjoy especially if you are a writer, because it treads territory which will cut to your bone. It really will. It is quite savage. And as a writer who's done meta stuff herself, I'm like, yeah. But there's some comments waiting. Oh yes. Frank's put up some comments. I had turned off the comments, Frank. Sorry. While they sleep. Yes, that was a nice piece. Do the Wham Bam competitors stream their process? Oh, interesting question.
We have had streams in the past, haven't we? Didn't we do it at Murdoch? Moons ago now.
We have done it twice. It always ends up being huge, and we didn't do it this year purely because Ben, our tech, the tech member of our committee, has moved to Melbourne. So even though he is still helping us out in Waminate, he can't Waminate. I don't even know the organisation I'm the chair of. Jeez. What? Say the name. Someone say the name so it gets out of my head.
You're talking about the Wham Bam, the actual competition itself, or are you talking about
just in general, Waminate, for anything that he does. Ben has helped out with tech. He looks after the website. He generally does a bit of the filming. And unfortunately, we've lost him to the Eastern States. So thanks.
It's a thing.
Story.
Yeah. But what else is out? Wendell and Wild is out. I haven't caught it yet.
I caught it today. It's all right. I think I had too much expectations for it, but it's really good dealing with trauma from both a personal standpoint and a social standpoint. And yeah, it's a really interestingly animated piece. Worth a look.
I'll check it out. It's on my list. Lower Deck Season 3 has wrapped up.
Great series. Always.
I love Star Trek, the animated, the new Star Trek animated series, Lower Decks. So yeah, it's very, very much to the heart of what I see Trek as. So, and it's the best Trek. Rick and Morty, we've got on the list. Star Trek Prodigy, while we're talking about Star Trek animations. You've been deep diving, Dave.
Oh, I'm actually one episode behind on it, but it's doing well. That second part of the season has really allowed it to open up and find its footing in a very much a more Star Trek, a more familiar Star Trek vibe. So it's going on missions. The crew's looking a bit more coherent, but there's still that whole larger season arc working its way through that's doing quite well.
Yeah.
Frank loved Wendell and Wild.
Yeah.
So yep.
Along the lines, because you and I watched the first half of season 1 of Prodigy, and we both came away from it going, is it really?
Yeah, it's season, like the second part of it, they're some spoilers here. They're in Federation space now, so it's starting to reveal its plot a bit more, and they're starting to act more as a traditional crew would do, while still being a bunch of kids on a trading mission, rather than just more like something similar to, I guess, Blake 7 or Farscape. So yeah, it's cool.
It's good.
Frank says there's some amazing Netflix anime out at the moment. I know Cyberpunk, everyone was singing about that, but that's been out a little bit now. I haven't watched it.
Yeah. I called Dragon Prince season 4. That's pretty good, but it's in that stage where it's finished its A plot and it's building its next big plot up. So it's more of a peace moving sort of season, while it's still building on some of the background characters.
I was so disappointed with Dragon Prince, to be honest. I watched season 1. I watched season 1, 2, and 3 each in a day. I just couldn't stop it. I was so obsessed with it. The story was just brilliant. And then season 4 came out, and I was like, I watched the first 2 episodes, and I was like, this is boring. And they are just, it feels more like fan fiction than actual.
I get it. The plot does start coming in more about halfway mark. You start getting a bit more serious aspects to it getting in there. So they stop the fart jokes coming through from Terry and Claude, and you kind of get some more serious aspects happening there. I mean, it goes from fart joke to, oh my God, I've murdered someone.
Maybe they're frustrating the audience enough, so they go out and buy the Dragon Prince role-playing game, so they create their own stories. It's all a marketing ploy. They're trying to,
I think they probably had like 3 seasons in the bag of what they wanted to tell story-wise, and they got renewed for a 4th season, so they're just...
That's what it felt like.
Yeah, it is that, but by the end of the season, the story is there, and it's curious as to where it'll actually go to. See how it shapes out.
I don't know, Bright Samurai Soul. That's I can't say that I'm on top of the Netflix anime at the moment, so not.
Yeah, I should have missed that one.
I think I've seen the ads for it.
Look, there's so much released in so many platforms. There's going to be stuff we're missing, and we're probably going through a whole bunch of about 20-something movies and series that are coming out by the end of this month in December. We're going to miss something. Yeah, certainly going to miss.
Definitely. Looking at the list that you've got, so we're wrapping up out recently. Paws of Fury. Haven't seen it. The Legend of Hank. Do we know anyone? No,
I haven't seen it. It's it looks like it's kind of a Magnificent Seven Samurai sort of riff, basically, where trading someone to be a warrior and getting a group together to protect a village or something along those lines. But I haven't had a chance to see it, so no idea. Good if it's good, bad, different.
Oh.
Cool.
That's so there's the what was the conspiracy theory series on Netflix? It's completely
Inside Job.
Inside Job is out as well. So
Yep, season 2 just dropped as well.
God, that was quick. I must have shown
Yeah.
that one out in a hurry.
that's
Sorry, part 2 of season 2, I think it is.
I really liked the first season, so I'm super excited to see the rest of it. Just trying to find the time at the moment to do it. Mia and me, the hero of
Centopia. Yeah, that was the okay, yeah. Oh, cool. I hadn't actually heard that one. Apollo 10.5 has been accepted for animations in the Oscars. So Linklater. Yeah.
Really?
very, very cool.
Yeah.
So it should be.
Oh yeah, Me, Hero Zootopia. Basically, it's a movie based on the 2011 Nickelodeon series, which had 3 seasons and I'd never heard of before. It's seems like it's a fantasy piece similar to like cross between Neverending Story and She-Ra, Princess of Power. So a girl goes into a world where she can talk to unicorns and ends up fighting fantasy battle. So yeah,
Never heard of it. Okay.
heard of it. Sorry, but there's a main film out there now. So
Okay.
Rings a bell from a bit of channel hopping back in the past, but that's about it.
Okay, so on to coming soon. So Strange World is coming for Disney.
yeah.
That looks interesting.
That
Looks
reminds
quite
me of an old
interesting.
50s Disney animation they did on Mars.
Yeah, it's a bit of Journey to the Center of the Earth sort of style to it. Diesel punk, so yeah.
Except all brightly coloured.
Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, which we spoke about last time. Looks amazing, looks really nice. I made a point since then to watch Pan's Labyrinth. And I have
it's interesting.
Yeah, I quite liked it.
It's great. Oh, the bottle sequence though. Oh my god, that sends chills down me every time I see that sequence. As we didn't talk about Sea Beast, yeah, that's true. Well, sorry about that as well. So yeah, Netflix animated movie that's just come out within the last month, which again still haven't managed to catch. Thanks for that, Frank. I did say we'd forget something.
We're actually going to have to start creating a roster of things to watch just so we're up on them. Oh,
God.
I've seen Sea Beast and I did not enjoy it. It was there's so many beautiful missed opportunities for Sea Beast designs, and they made like a red sausage. I was so sad.
A red sausage.
Yeah, no. I love animation so much, and I was just like a poor man's rehashing of How to Train Your Dragon. The animation was great, but story-wise, I couldn't get behind it at all, and I couldn't be bothered watching to the end.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I know, which is so sad because
fine.
people spend so long on it, but the story was really lame.
That's
So
the perils of working in a large film. I mean,
Yeah.
I personally will not turn off if it's bad. I think the only time I've turned off or asked for something to be turned off, Dave, was the extremely racist Godzilla movie we watched.
King Kong versus Godzilla versus King Kong, the original one. Yeah, no, that was you could not go.
That was just not something I could watch. It was just
Is this like 1960s Keiju or something a bit?
Yeah, with blackface Islanders. It's atrocious. It really wasn't good. I think it might actually be. I'm just trying to think if it's 50s or 60s. No, it's got to be 60s. It's just
60s. I would have thought. Godzilla was 56 or something.
Yeah.
Okay, on the films going down, My Father's Secret is in the Jewish Film Festival. That's coming up soon, and I should catch that one.
Yep. It's a documentary, animated documentary. So that's good to see that sort of blending of styles coming out again. We had Flea recently, which was an Oscar nominee from this year, I should say. So yeah, it's really interesting to see the art of animation moving to different fields than you'd normally expect it. So great.
So that's the Jewish Film Festival very soon here, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think it starts November, like late November. So I think it's either this Thursday or next week. So it's really, really
and it'll
soon.
be through Luna, I'm assuming. So
yeah, it's Luna for Jewish Film Festival. We're just about to talk about the Japanese Film Festival, which I believe is Palace. So yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
For anime supremacy, Blue Thermal.
So yeah, Blue Thermal is a coming of age story about a Japanese girl in a glider club. That's fully animated. Anime Supremacy is a live action film, but taking a look behind the scenes of, it's a drama set behind the scenes of anime companies, and there is a animated segment to it as well. So I've not seen either of the films. I don't know what they're like, but it's interesting, and both of those are coming out as part of the Japanese Film Festival this month as well.
Cool. I saw the trailer to New Gods Yang, so that's that looks really nice.
Yeah.
So
That's interesting. I don't know what to say about it because I couldn't find a English subtitled version. But there's a giant 30-foot being of light playing electric guitar, and part of a sort of Dynasty Warrior style battle. So yeah, looks good.
Nice.
The Quintessential Quintuplets, the movie.
Japanese rom-com. It's coming as a one-off showing at I think it's Events doing that. So keep an eye out on that. That's early December.
So if it's Event, it's probably playing at Inaloo. Is that generally?
Yeah, I'd assume it's Inaloo. That's it's covering that.
For those of you who aren't in Western Australia, Inaloo is a suburb of Perth. It's not just a joke name.
Strange but true.
Yep.
Strange but true.
From the state that brought you Upper Swan and Inaloo, yes.
Right. That's where you find the event cinemas.
Nice.
It's quite an event going to the Inaloo.
Little Eggs and African Rescue.
Yeah, I've got nothing on that one. Sorry, that's one that slipped under my radar. I did cover it. It is coming out in December, but I think it's going to be part of just the something for the kiddies, basically. Tad the Explorer.
Yeah,
that was a weird one. I wasn't aware of it. So Spanish animation. I think it's the third in a kind of an Indiana Jones sort of trilogy. So if you could imagine something like Pixar doing Indiana Jones, there we go.
Very cool. Okay.
Very interesting.
Avatar: The Way of Water. Now this is going to be it's either going to be a huge hit or it's going to be a spectacular bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're past the point of a desire for an Avatar sequel. Have we reached post-pandemic peak animation? Maybe we have. I mean, it's going to look pretty. There's going to be some interesting background stuff. We're going to learn a few more words of the Na'vi language. So A1 Negeu, for those of you who are not big nerds like me.
With a vague sense of interest as well. Yeah. It's amazing how much time and effort went into the original and then how little impact it had on just about everything.
It's big at the time, but it doesn't seem to have had the last ability.
Only while it was in view. Once it disappeared, it just vanished from all straight, out of sight, out of mind, really.
It's curious. I'm curious to see whether James Cameron can resurrect it. And it'll have to have an amazing story, and I'm worried that he's going to do exactly the same story.
Well, his last series of films, everything from the Titanic onward, has been very much working with archetypes and stereotypes and very simplistic sort of plot devices. But yeah. If it depends how it handles its environment and stuff. The trouble with Avatar was that it was essentially a Disney park planet. And it seemed to have all the stuff going on it, and everything was brightly colored and super duper and super this and super that. All looked, chirpy, and everything had 3 eyes, 6 wings, and 10 legs, and all that sort of stuff. It was just it's like it all looked very convincing, but it's like it's the old problem where if you got a visual effect and you got Neil Armstrong with a cabbage, it still looks like a visual effect because it's Neil Armstrong with a cabbage on the moon. It's going to look fake no matter what you do. So I don't know.
I don't know. I've seen what they can do with AI now.
Well, that's true. But yeah, I don't know.
Did you just say the moon landing wasn't convincing?
Oh, look, I think the cabbage gave it away. So, no, that's just the example of something. It's, yeah, I don't know. It was like, I was sort of waiting for that film to start. And, after you've read things like Ursula K. Le Guin and stuff like that, it's like, what I got was an 80s film made for kids, except, it had a budget of a small country. So,
typical VFX artists. They show them a documentary of something important, and they go, "I can do that and more realistic." Yeah.
Look, I've worked on things where we've all invested phenomenally stupendous amounts of time, and you just kind of hope that am I building a beautiful glittering Taj Mahal bridge in the middle of nowhere, or is this actually going to have people walking on it, admiring the view and stuff like that?
True.
The amount of effort that goes into this thing isn't what makes it. It's how good the story and the suspension of disbelief and all that sort of stuff is, as usual. All the other stuff's just mindless frippery, really. It's yeah. So anyway, we'll see how it goes. It'll be interesting to watch anyway, at least technically, and it'll push and fund a number of R&D projects, and we'll all be a lot of films are enjoying the facial motion capture and stuff like that. Yeah, that's
true.
The first one. So,
Frank's saying fighting environment never gets old. So yeah,
no, that's true.
Still relevant themes.
It just depends on the amount of time and effort they spend making it. They could have invested in the environment. But anyway,
Lyle Crocodile.
Okay, live action, but central characters animated. So, yeah.
A new Puss in Boots film.
That is
just what we always needed.
I'm actually kind of excited for that one. I don't know if I should be, but I kind of am. So,
we're actually in the 21st year since we're almost 22 years since Shrek. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So, in continuing the sequence of Shrek films, yeah. And is this the third or the fourth Puss in Boots?
Not sure, but it looks a little into the Spider-Verse to me. I just had a quick look at the trailer.
Oh, it's
got that slightly cartoony look to it.
Yeah, and it's going deeper into that sort of fairy tale world as well. Of fairy tale crime world, should we say as well? So that should be fun.
Nice,
pretty cool. Dragon Age Absolution. I'm just going to put it in the category of all animations and films that are made out of games, and just go on. Yeah. Well,
you can't do that anymore. Castlevania actually was a good animation made out of games.
I'll resign myself to that one. Jeez. Okay.
Oh man.
Castlevania. Okay, it was good. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce it. Gautama?
Gudetama. Yeah. Arcane.
Oh, and Arcane. Yep. Good one. Yep. Well said. Yeah.
Arcane's been and gone.
Yeah, but no, it was also a good animation.
Yeah, it was very good, actually.
So Gautama, an excellent adventure. Japanese property. I'm not that familiar with it, but it's about an egg and a chicken that make a cracked egg and a chicken that make an escape across Japan. It's I'd actually recommend if you take a look at the trailer itself. It's like having an acid tab with Hello Kitty printed on it. It breaks your brain. It's really interesting.
Don't take drugs, kids.
No. Never done that.
Yeah, I always knew Gudetama as always like a sticker collection on Facebook.
Yeah.
And now it's like they're doing a story with it. I hope they it's such a beloved Japanese character that's just like a marketing ploy that I'm excited to see what they do.
It's risen from that same bunch that did like the Pushin character.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Interesting.
It really does look interesting, but wow, it's going to be curious.
Yeah. Scrooge: A Christmas Carol. Obviously, Christmas movies come. I think they just peaked at Claus. You should just watch Claus. Don't worry about any future animated Christmas movies. Just go back and watch Claus.
Is this done by Sergio Pablo Animation? Is it done by the same people who did Klaus?
No, I don't know. Maybe. Hold on.
I haven't checked. Yeah.
Who's doing it?
So if someone could. Because I got him. I was a bit dismissive.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I was a bit dismissive. So
Timeless Films. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah. Hopefully you couldn't hear that because that blasted in my ears really loud.
Okay. And we've got, speaking of which, we've got Boss Baby, a Christmas bonus as well coming out for another of the Christmas movies.
I haven't seen any of the Boss Baby movies.
Yeah, no, I'm behind on all of them as well. So
it's not my thing. It's kind of like Minions. Let's just no. It's fine. It's for other people. They can enjoy it.
It's lowest common denominator for appealing to the lowest common denominator.
We're animation snobs now.
Yeah, that's right.
We're not. Although I'm going to talk about Spirited Away and Totoro, my neighbor Totoro double up the Luna. So, on 4th of December.
For everyone who says Tanya hates anime and doesn't like anything anime, I point to this at the Luna. Spirited Away, Totoro. Go and see it. If you haven't seen either of the films, they're amazing. Great film to put together, Totoro and Spirited Away. Both similarly fairy tales, one a little bit darker than the other. Interestingly enough, Totoro was originally not released when it first came out as a double with Spirited Away. It was released as a double with Grave with the Fireflies, which I think it was put there to lighten the mood.
It's a unicorn chaser, isn't it? Yeah.
It's definitely that. Make all the kiddies, all the crying little kids go into the next session and feel a bit better afterwards.
Yeah. So, really love those two films. They're great. And just even from the perspective of just watching how Hayao Miyazaki animates children playing, I like it. It's amazing to do it. The two kids are running around the yard and Totoro, or Totoro, depending on who you are. I'm sure there are people who will call me up on my pronunciation there. But.
Well, it's really nice seeing something that's observational.
Yeah.
It really makes a difference. So.
Very, very nice. Nightmare Before Christmas is getting an immersive experience on the 18th at Lunar. If you want to go and watch a whole bunch of people shout at the screen and get some, Yes, the immersive experiences are always fun, especially if it's a film you love. The last one I went to was The Fifth Element.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, quite enjoying The Fifth. And one for you, Dave, obviously at the bottom of this. So, hold on. Psychologist reacts, just reviewed tutorial and Spirited Away and gets into the story. Are you talking, Frank, are you talking about the Cinema Therapy series? Because those guys are great. I love them. It would... I'm trying to get as many people as I can to watch that series because I quite like their take on the various animations. Yeah, Cinema Therapy. So if you, Cinema Therapy YouTube channel. If you're not watching any Waname movies or short films, go and see Cinema Therapy on YouTube and check out their breakdowns of things. And they do live action film as well as animations, but they really do deep dives into the emotional content. Particularly interesting is the breakdown and discussion about In and Out. Hold on, not In and Out. Oh, no, Inside Out.
yes.
In and Out is the Kevin Kline film, isn't it?
Oh God.
No. Inside Out, which is the Pixar movie about emotions. Yes. That's Yes, Cinema Therapy, says Frank. So check it out. For you, Dave, the last thing on the list. Transformers Allspark. Knowing full well out of view just behind you is a rack of Transformers.
Yeah.
On your wall there. So
yeah. Okay, I'm not going to get through, but yeah, there's a ton of Transformers right behind me, being blocked out by my massive body. But yeah, Transformers Earthspark. So new animated series, first for a year or two because they've just finished the Netflix trilogy. So yeah, see how this goes, and new design elements, a couple of new Transformers. Looks like
are they
could be
starting it from scratch, or are they continuing the story, or are they?
It's I'm not sure at the moment. It's premiered elsewhere in the world, but we haven't had a chance to look at it in Australia yet, by legal means. So waiting for Paramount. I think that's coming out end of this week, and yeah, it looks like it might be set after the war, and we might have a good guy Megatron for a bit. So see how that goes.
What? Good game, Megatron.
It's happened. It has happened before in the IDW comics. Megatron as an Autobot, but it's can happen. Let's see if this happens this time.
Okay, fair enough. Cool. That's the end of our list of all the things that are coming and all the things that are out. Well, that's the end of our list. That's not the end of the list of potential.
No, that's for sure.
I'm sure there's a zillion and one things that you'd potentially like to talk about. So if that's the case, if there's things that you'd like us to talk about as topics on Lightbox, either send us a message, or you can send a email to wanamate@gmail.com, and annoy Travis, who will send the message through to me and ask those questions. There's, or you can contact us through the various social media on our Facebook pages, on our Instagram, on our LinkedIn, all of that. You can track us down and hassle us out about such things. Frank says, I feel it is a new age of animation dawning. Frank, you need to be on this show. We need to add you to this show.
Yeah.
You need to come on. You need to voice your voice in a real voice.
As a super fan, of course.
Rather than just a wall of text. Yes. Join us.
I think the new age of animation dawned a while ago. We're right in the middle of it. I haven't seen this much stuff come out for a particular thing since like 1980, 81, where science fiction went bonkers. In 1 year, we had things like, a sequel, Star Trek 2, and then there was a whole swag of original films they've been trying to rebuild and remake ever since. So, even though 90% of them failed at the box office. Go figure.
Frank says he likes heckling.
That's all right.
But one final point, we were going to bring up queer representation in some of the animations that are out because it is Pride Month.
Yeah,
so we mentioned Dragon Prince has a trans character.
Yeah, the first trans character and voiced by a trans actor as well, so that's good. Wendell Wild also has a trans character, and I don't think they're voiced by a trans actor, but both have been introduced. Both are introduced with no fanfare as to the fact that they're trans. It's just mentioned in passing. So it's representation, but it's not all about. That's not all there is to them as a character. So that's great. That's good representation.
There's just a character.
There's currently rumors out that Disenchantment has been cancelled for before a fifth season, which is really sad because it was just starting to explore Princess Bean's relationship as well.
And Earthspark, Transformers Earthspark apparently has a non-binary character as well as one of the Autobots. So that could be interesting. I know that because it's one of the things that was put out there by the usual sources, saying, reason that Hasbro's tanking at the moment is this one character. So,
robots are all non-binary.
It's complicated and Transformers. There is actually a subject in that for another time, thanks to RDW Comics. There are queer Transformers out there.
Okay.
Terrible lizard, I think, Frank G.
Does Godzilla have a gender?
Depends on the Godzilla series.
Doesn't the Legendary Monsters and there's a new one due soon, isn't there? A Legendary Monsters.
Yeah, it's just wrapped filming in Queensland, I believe.
Because Mothra is definitely a she.
Yes. Maybe. Again, depends on the Mothra. The 90s or 2000s Mothra trilogy actually has Leo Mothra, a male Mothra there. So
Godzilla is gender fluid. Wow. I don't know. Maybe.
Yep.
Anyway. So we'll sign off, I think. Wanimate.org.au or wanimate.au is our website. Things are happening. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on LinkedIn. You can find us on YouTube. And we will hopefully be around in a month. We'll have Christmas coming up, which means we may
Who's up at the 21st Amendment, I think.
Yeah, we may take some. See, that's a good thing to think about potentially. But we may sort of announce when the next Lightbox is going to be around Christmas, if at all. We'll see how we go.
So it might be January then, might it?
Yeah. So well, because it's so close to Christmas, of course. So yeah. And we don't want to interfere with everyone's holidays, whether you're specifically a Christmas celebrator or other. It's just we'll work out what we're going to do, and you'll all find out on our socials. So Nina, we thank you for coming along and talking with us and offering your opinion and telling us about things that we haven't seen. So it's very nice to have you along. And it's goodbye from me, Tanya. And
Bye from me, Dave.
And it's a goodbye from him, Linz.
so yeah, good night, everyone, and see you on all of it later on. Yeah. Bye.
Till next time.
See ya. Have a good Christmas and New Year's.
Thank you.
Bye.